This is the fatherhood experience. Turn it up, cause tonight you'll learn how to leave behind the average dad life. This the fatherhood experience. It's time to lead my family and become the father figure I deserve to be. The fatherhood experience.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fatherhood Experience, where we help dads become better dads. We are your hosts, Jason Priest and Zach Smith, and we have an amazing episode for you guys today. I'm not even gonna do my normal intro. I'm just gonna go straight into it because today we're talking about pride and pride in our country. We're coming up on July 4th. We're recording this at the very end of June, and July 4th is next Tuesday. And Zach and I are going to break down what it means for us to be free and to live in this country. We're going to talk about why freedom is so important as a father in this country so that we can continue raising our children to grow up and pursue greatness. If you get value out of today, just share the show. We know you're going to get value. We're going to talk about some things that are meaningful to us. And I think that you guys are going to share a lot of the same thoughts. So buckle up. We'll have some hard-hitting shit for you guys today. But we're excited for you guys to be here. Zach, I'm going to start off with one question for you because I'd like to chat about this because I found a random flyer on my fucking counter this morning. But do you and your family have any July 4th plans, or is there anything you guys taking Ace to fireworks, or what's going on there?
Yeah, if everything's all good, if this baby doesn't pop out, then we are going to go probably drive up a hill. We live right next to the hills, so we could just drive up and we could see literally every single fireworks show in Las Vegas in the entire valley. So it's right around the corner from our house. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be very simple and easy, but Ace is going to be just like, whoa, what the hell is going on in the sky?
Yeah.
So he's going to love it, man. So we don't have anything crazy, but yes, we are going to go see some things. And for Ace, for a kid who's only 4, dude, fireworks are a miracle.
Yeah. I mean, did you see him last year? Because if you did, he probably didn't really remember much about it. Like this.
Oh no, he actually does.
He remembers?
He actually does. He really looks forward to it. Yeah, he
cool.
likes, like, he just like, dude, this is crazy. Like, what is this magic?
Yeah. So do they do the fireworks? Because obviously you're in Vegas. I'm sure there's multiple shows, but is the basis of the fireworks done like on the strip, or do they do them in the fucking desert where there's probably minimal chance at a fire?
Oh, they do it on the strip, man. Straight up. I was, a couple years ago, I was actually on the strip during one of those. I had a friend of mine. It was one of his, I think it was his birthday or something. So we went out and it was close to July 4th. They were literally having a fireworks show right next to the club.
That's badass.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
No, yeah. We, last year, this is one of my, I feel like this holiday, especially now it's on a Tuesday, like it just doesn't get celebrated enough. I feel like, we need an intent. I told you, let me back up. I told you before the show, I was making a shirt that says Happy Pride Year with an American flag on it because, I feel like living in a free country and we can define freedom later, but living in an almost free country or a country that's freer than others, we'll go with that. It's extremely important for us as fathers because you and I wouldn't be here today if we didn't have freedom as a platform to be able to talk about not only what we do as a company and helping fathers lose weight, get healthy, and become the most elite version of themselves, but also, being able to talk about some of the cultural issues that we have in society. Because right now, dude, like we're at a 70% overweight rate and damn near 40% obesity rate. And I think that, we can all agree as dads that the root cause of that is a cultural problem. We know nobody's coming to save us. And we know that, kind of going back to the thing that we've talked about before, where it's like hard times create tough men, tough men create good times create weak men, whatever. We're at that cycle, right? And so we've got weak men, we've got weak leadership in charge of the country right now. And our cultural problems at its core saddens me. But where I'm going with this is, I think this holiday needs more recognition, but maybe it's a shift away. I mean, I love the beer and the hot dogs and the fireworks and all that goes around with that. But I feel like we may need a shift to change this because our whole, every holiday celebration and everything is around food in the fattest nation on earth. And I feel like there's some room for improvement there. If you hear what I'm saying.
I think there's room for improvement because of the fact that I'm not sure if you've ever seen these videos, but people like to talk about, hey, when was Independence Day? And people won't know
They have no
what day it actually is.
dude.
If you don't know the year, at least know the day. Everybody knows like the date, right? Of the month and the day. Everybody knows that. But what's even more incredible is when people are asked, what does July 4th actually, what does it actually mean? What is it? And there is a good chunk of people who say it's America's birthday.
Yeah.
Have you heard that before?
I have.
So
these are these same idiots where they're interviewing the college students, asking them like where a country is.
The educated people, right? And it's incredible because, like you said, that this does need more. This needs more of a highlight. This needs more of an emphasis. This needs more acknowledgement because of the simple fact that people believe that July 4th, 1776 is just when all of a sudden America's populated and it was discovered and it's the birthday. Look, dude, guys, listen, it's not. That was the day that we formed. I think it was the Declaration of Independence because we became independent from Great Britain. That is what July 4th represents. Yep. Freedom, our own sovereign nation run by our own government within our own country.
Yeah.
Not some proxy government overseas. None of that nonsense.
Right.
That's what it is. People have inhabited North America for a long time prior to that. For those of you who don't know shit about your history, I'm not even a history buff. I don't know like hardly shit about history. And even I know this. But it's crazy. It's incredible. And a lot of people will talk. It's funny. A lot of people will talk shit about America, not even realizing the privileges and the rights that they have because they were simply born in the right country. Dude. These people are crazy. They take their freedoms for granted. Yes. And it's one of the most irritating things ever when I hear people bitching and whining about living in America. I don't give a shit what people think about stats. You could throw all the negative stats you want in the world at America. It is still the greatest country on earth. I promise that.
100%, dude. Are there potential options to live where you could benefit a little bit more in the financial category in terms of like, living tax-free? 100%. Are there countries where you could go and have like, more peace and less crime and more calmness in your life? 100%. But like, we are the land of opportunity for a reason. And when you hear guys like Patrick Bet-David, that's a good example. When you hear guys like him who were not born here, like when you come from the Middle East, or you hear some of these stories of these migrants who've come over here and gotten their citizenship and completely transformed their lives because they already have that hardworking mentality, right? It's bred into them wherever they're from. They knew no else. They knew no other option, right? Hard work and getting up every day and busting your ass was just an expectation of you when you lived in a lesser country or a lesser nation. You come over here and you see that you have all this opportunity, dude, because I don't give a fuck who you are, what color you are, what religion you are, if you're handicapped. It doesn't matter who you are and what you look like in this country. If you come over here and you work your ass off and you continue to try to grow in every area of life, your possibilities are endless in this country. And it's been proven time and time again by many, many immigrants. All right. And so when I see and hear these people that you're talking about, these ungrateful millennial fucks or these Gen Z people who have they're literally bashing America. These are the people that are stomping on the flag and burning the flag. But I see that these fucking Antifa little bastard fucks, dude, that are out there with no job, no purpose other than to create chaos because they hate our country. Those people are the ones that need to be deported. I'm sorry, but why don't you go check out what it's like to live in fucking Haiti or Honduras or something like that for a few months. And then you come and tell me how much you fucking hate America, dude. I'm not here for it. I love my country more than anything. And I will tell you that, yes, there's a lot of flaws in this nation. And yes, we have a long way to go. We are not a flawless nation. We are not a perfect nation. But there is nobody that can look me in the eye and say, living in this country doesn't provide them as much opportunity as they would have anywhere else in the world times 10.
Yeah, dude. Opportunity is yours for the taking, but here's the thing. You have to take it.
Yep.
When people see that there's an opportunity, but they'd rather bitch and whine, you're never going to be able to capitalize on that opportunity that's there for you for the taking. Because I always say it, you cannot bitch your way to success.
Nope.
This is the land of opportunity. Yes, we have problems. Yes, we have a long way to go, but what country doesn't? Let's really think about that. As a nation, yes, your people could be generally happy people, but it doesn't mean that it's perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect nation. Otherwise, guess what? 90% of the world would probably try to live there if that was truly the case. Dude, people who are taking America for granted and the freedoms don't understand, man. There's like, if anybody's familiar with the guy named Bedros Keuilian, this guy, his family, I think they immigrated from USSR back in the day, right? When they were still like the Soviet Union, whatever, USSR, Communist Party, and all that crazy hardcore stuff. Like, I forgot the exact story, so don't quote me on this, but he talked about how his dad used to be part of the Communist Party. Surprise, surprise, because he was forced to. No freedom. So what he had to do was I believe they gave him a ton of cloth and he would have to be the one that sewed up uniforms for the Communist Party. So what he did was he sewed them so tightly, like close together, that he was supposed to make 23, 24 of them, again, don't quote me, but he put them so tightly together that he was able to actually make one extra uniform beyond what they believed he would be able to. And what he did with that one uniform was he actually sold it to other people so that he can make money on the side to escape that place. And that's what they did. They eventually escaped USSR by him having to pretty much sell illegal goods, contraband, I guess we can say, to essentially spies against the Communist Party that he actually worked for, being forced to. What does that say about communism? That you don't want to be there. You're forced into it. If you don't have your own freedom of speech, you don't get to speak your mind. And if you say anything negative, guess what? So for some reason, you go missing. That's just what happened. So he literally risked his life to get his family out of that place because he knew that his family deserved better. So that's like when people ask me, hey, Zach, like, what's the one thing, like one word of advice that you can give me as a young adult, like venturing out into the world, starting my life, whatever it is? I go, fuck your education, fuck your business, fuck your job, fuck everything that you want to, like, it doesn't even matter right now. What I want you to do is go travel to another country, but make sure it's a second or third world nation. Because I need you to have that perspective shift about where you live so that you stop taking for granted the things that you have and the opportunities that you also have. I tell them all of the time, this is why when I travel, because I back in 2016, when I quit my job in the corporate world and started my own business and all that stuff, we went to Argentina, Brazil, Thailand, Philippines, and Japan. Japan, the only reason we went to there, even though it's a first world nation, is because their culture is so different from ours in America. But otherwise, I don't care to go to other first world nations because I don't want to see the nice privileges and rights that they have over there too. I'm more infatuated with the way that other people live who are trying to just scrape by, but seeing how happy they are as a people because they don't take their freedoms for granted. They don't take their life circumstances and everything else for granted. They just live life day to day as happy as can be. I found some of the most joyous, happy, and not necessarily financially prosperous, but at least in terms of their emotion and their well-being and their sense and quality of life, to be in those places where they actually don't have all the things that we have in America. Those people, I wish if I could just have it my way and just realign everything up, I would throw those humble people into America and watch them absolutely thrive while taking all the bitchers and whiners and putting them in places like North Korea, putting them in Russia, putting them in the Middle Eastern countries where it is still very, very, very dicey, right? One of our clients is talking about how he was in a couple of those Middle Eastern plots and he said it was the worst experience of his life because every day is a damn fireworks show, but with RPGs that can kill you. So that's the reality of what it is, guys. So people who are bitching and whining, here's one more perfect example, man, of how America is the greatest country on earth. Brittany Griner, she played for, I believe, the Las Vegas Aces, right? At the time. I don't know where she is now because I don't give a shit. This girl bitching and whining about opportunity in America. Well, yeah, she's playing. What was that?
I said you can probably say he. It's okay, but go ahead.
Yeah, whatever. I don't even give a shit what it is. She's just bitching and whining about America, lack of opportunity, blah, 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 while she's playing in the WNBA. Fuck off. Fuck out of here. Brings a vape pen to Russia when she visits there, gets locked up. And what America does is for this girl who's bitching and whining about living in America, they traded somebody who was a high-profile criminal, like a spy or whatever the hell he was, an arms dealer, whatever, international arms dealer. I forgot exactly what it was. They traded his ass for her. my honest opinion, should have left her ass there for a while to teach her a fucking lesson, because she's taking for granted the freedoms that America provides, and America saved her ass. If she didn't change her narrative about America after they saved her ass, then she got to go back. She got to go back. She hasn't learned.
I can't stomach those kind of people when they don't have any kind of gratitude for living in this country. Again, you might not love everything about it, but I want to touch on this, because here's the thing, dude. We started off talking about culture, and I believe that there's a lot of substance here, because we look at the culture as a whole, and these are not, like Brittany Griner, for example. This is not an individual who developed this thought process on her own and started forming these opinions and judgments of her country. These are things that have been shoved down her throat really since she's young. I'm not sure how old that person is, but at a young age, and let's say, within the last 10 years, we've seen our culture shift drastically toward more of the woke agenda kind of nonsense, dude. And like you're seeing things that simply don't make sense. And so when you are growing up and you're being exposed to other people who are sharing these thoughts about their nation, I have to peel back the onion layer and look a step further, because I think if we go in and we start looking at the public education system, which we've touched on before, taking the Pledge of Allegiance and God out of schools, really forcing more women into the workforce and having kids be raised more by the public education system, and then after school programs, and then also the participation trophy and the all-inclusive kind of mentality. What happens is you start to have nihilism. You start to have no sense of pride in your country. The sense of pride for living here starts to diminish when we have all these external factors telling us that there's really no reason to be prideful, because we're all the same. We don't, we all get the same shit. We get government handouts when we need them. And, why should I be happy about a country where I'm seeing all this division in these, the Black Lives Matter whole movement thing with the riots and the George Floyd thing, and then all the police brutality, and then all of this separation and divide that's shoved down our throats by mainstream media. More of these people need to get out in the country, or get out in the community, number one, because that is simply not the truth when you actually go out into the community. But when we scroll our cell phones for 8 hours a day and we tune into mainstream media, and all we're being told is that there's so much hatred and so much divide in our country, it's very easy to see why this sense of pride and being proud of one's nation and living in one's country starts to diminish, especially for this younger crowd, dude. They're not being told that there's any reason to be proud of living in the country. I can highlight, I just talked about, and then I'll cap it off with this, is that, Black History Month gets a whole month, and the LGBT community gets a whole month. We have Pride Month, we have Black History Month, but then we go over to our country, our fucking country, and we get a day, right? Not that doesn't make sense. So and I have no problem with having a whole month dedicated to the rights and basically the rights and celebrating Black History Month for what it is and Pride Month for what it is. I very much believe that gay people and lesbian people, that you go do you. It wasn't that long ago where gay marriage was just made legal. And so we're in a kind of a new, almost like a new, a new wave, if you will, of where we're going with culture. And so I support the Black History Month. I support the Pride Month. I think that they should have their rights. I don't give a shit what you do behind the scenes, dude. Just like you don't care about hearing how I'm banging my wife. Like, let's not talk about that. You keep your shit over here. I'll keep my shit over here. I saw 2 gay dudes leaving the daycare the other day with their little infant girl baby. And I'm like, you know what? Better you guys and raising this child in a fucking nice, healthy, clean, supportive, loving environment than the woman over here who has sex with 7 different dudes just to keep spitting out babies so she can get the government money to barely survive. Like, which baby is going to do better? Probably the one living with the gay dudes. So I support it, dude. I'm for it. Why do we not have an entire month that's dedicated to our fucking freedom? Like, where are we going with this? Because if it's the powers that be and everything that we've seen over the last 3 years, in my opinion, it would be very much by design. But I think shedding a little bit of light on why the culture has shifted, I can see why. There's no sense of pride anymore for living in this country when you're told that it's nothing but racial divide and hatred and all this shit, when in all actuality, that's not truly happening out in the community.
Yep, 100%, dude. The bottom line of everything what Jason said is if you watch the news, you will be an idiot. Yep. You will have a biased opinion that doesn't actually reflect the truth of what's going on in the world, or at least what's going on in America. What they show you is literally probably 1% of what the hell's going on and what's actually important, because those are the controversial things. We've already talked about this so many times that they only talk about controversial things because more eyeballs means more ad revenue. That's what it is. It is a business. It's not about accurate news. It's about fast news. It's not about truth and boring, unsexy truth. It's about controversy. It's about getting people
programming,
argue. It's what they do, because if they do that, then more people are going to chime into their shit. The algorithm's going to target them more. And guess what? Now you're a biased, hateful idiot. That's really all it is. You are just a pawn in their game. That's all they want, dude. That's really all it is. Yeah. So here's another. This conversation couldn't come at a more perfect time because of the fact that I was hanging out, me, Ace, and my wife, and for some reason I forgot what it was.
And your daughter, she just wasn't out of the womb yet, but
she just she was listening, but she didn't talk. She didn't say shit. So useless. So anyways, she didn't even contribute. But anyways, for some reason, Venezuela was brought up, right? Now, Venezuela, they like to consider themselves like a socialist economy, right? So I was asking my wife, I'm like, yeah, see, and we started talking about the same thing, not taking your freedoms and opportunities for granted here in America. And I was like, you're familiar with what's happening in Venezuela, right? And she said no. Now, I understand why she's not too familiar with this, because she's so damn busy working all the damn time. She has no time to be worrying about things that have nothing to do with us. And I completely accept it. But I'm like, you know what? You have to at least know what's going on, just to help reinforce why the hell we have it so damn good here. So I threw on a little 15-minute documentary on YouTube talking about how people in Venezuela, dude, their money is so worthless right now. They have to carry bricks of money to buy a piece of food if they can even afford it, because it's worth nothing, to the point where people actually utilize their money for Tinder to make fires, because it's better put that way than to actually use it towards buying things. Talking about how people get handouts every single month or 2 weeks or whatever the hell it was, but it's never, ever enough. Talking about one lady, how she had 4 sons and every single one of them died, because guess what? When anything happens, you're fucked. You don't get the medical attention that you need. You don't get anything that you require, because guess what? You have no money. You have no resources. And when they asked what she's going to make for dinner, it was a fucking potato. All right. If you bitch about America, move to Venezuela. Move to Venezuela.
I will raise the bar one more on that and say,
do it.
If you bitch about America and you think you have it bad here, and you don't wake the fuck up and start speaking out and fighting for your freedom, America is not going to be far behind Venezuela. Because what Venezuela has is, we'll call it socialism, communism, whatever you want to call it. Neither of them work. You've got a class of elites up here, zero middle class, and a massive population of poor, because they've driven all the middle class out, right? So you have poor, you have elites, and nothing in between. That same process right now is happening in America, maybe at a slower rate. I don't know. We are a massive country, but what we're seeing right now with inflation and everything that's going on, right? You start to peel back the layers, and you will see that there's a design process happening where middle class are being pushed further and further toward the poor, right? People are struggling right now financially to make ends meet. And 2 years ago, they wouldn't have called themselves struggling, right? So we are clearly in a decline in the financial category for anybody that fell into the middle class. And so if you are bitching right now and you feel like you hate this place because your life sucks, well, you can keep doing that and keep tooting that horn, but your life's not going to get any better no matter what. Your life is only going to suck more because you're a coward and you're not opening up your eyes and standing up for your own fucking freedom, dude, this whole episode is about freedom. You have some freedoms right now. I'm not going to say a 50 to 60% tax all in is true freedom. I don't believe that all of our freedoms are here. I cannot stand the censorship that happens. If I post something that's any kind of controversial, it gets shadow banned, even on my small Instagram account. I'll post something that's this positive with no kind of something, and it gets all the views. I post something that's controversial, and it gets none of the views. And so clearly there's an agenda here. And so for me, between the censorship, the taxes all in, that we are not truly free, but we're in a hell of a lot better spot than anybody else in the world. And if you want to hold on to your freedoms for what they are right now, and even potentially expand on those freedoms because our country needs some work, you better wake the fuck up and stop your bitching, because if you keep bitching, you're going to keep going down and down and down that negative rabbit hole, and you're never going to get out. And that's the facts of life no matter what. So
100%, man. I'm going to continue my rant about why the hell you should be thankful for America, because every time you say something, it reminds me of another
that's what we're here for, dude.
Another example, man. So what you talked about is like, hey, we're not having like 50, 60% tax rate, but blah, blah, blah. And let's talk about that for a second, because we also have people who are like, well, you don't even get free medical care if you need help, but in Europe you do. Guess what, you dumbass? In Europe, they charge you damn near 50% of everything that you make in order to make that happen. And there have been Europeans who actually moved to America because of the fact that they said that their medical care is slow, it sucks, and it's not as good as ours. So they'd rather actually pay money more upfront to actually get better care. Now,
talk to Canadians about that universal health care. Talk to them.
You don't want that
waiting list feels.
Now, guess what? Now, here's the thing, though. So America, we know that we're over 70% overweight, right? So a lot of these people could benefit from that, which is probably why they want that. But here's the reason that's bullshit. You shouldn't be needing to rely on having that medical intervention if you just took care of your damn self in the first place. Why the hell would I want it? Like, for somebody like ourselves, people like us who are actually trying to become the best version that we possibly can, who are healthy, who never need to go to the doctor except for when we're doing our checkup, just to make sure that we are maintaining a state of health. Why the fuck do I want to pay 50% taxes? Why do I want to pay half of the money so that I can support everybody else who's slacking the fuck off? That's bullshit.
Yeah,
that's bullshit. So let's talk about that for a second. For all these people, like, they get free medical care. No, they don't, you idiot. There's no such thing as a free lunch. I don't know why these fools don't know how to use their brain and they think with their heart. You cannot get free medical care because that has to be paid somehow, some way, and it comes out of your taxes. So for those of you who say, oh, well, medical care, if you really think that America is not that great because of the lack of medical care for all, by the way, they never turn you away. You can be homeless on the floor and the ambulance will pick you up.
I worked in the ICU, dude. Nobody's getting turned away.
Take it from the person who's there, plus the other guy who has literally half his family who works in hospitals. They will never turn you away.
You're getting in, dude. They're going to put you
in. Yep. They will never just look at you and be like, that guy looks broke, I'm not going to pick him up and save his life. No,
they will stabilize you at least.
They took an oath to save everybody, okay? Yep. Bills will come after the fact. Sure, it might be expensive if you don't have insurance, but guess what? They're not going to let you die. What's worth it? Your life or the money? The money you're going to have to pay. Come on, let's think about this for a second, guys. So the reality is this. Anybody crying about the medical care system here in America, move to Europe and see how you like getting 50% of your money taken away every single paycheck for the rest of your life. You're gonna have so much money taken away from you that you're gonna wish you were sick. You're gonna hope you could take advantage of it. Yeah. You're like, I hope I go every 2 months or so because at least I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. But if you're a healthy individual trying to be the best you can be, it is an absolute waste. It's terrible.
You hit on something good there, and I'm gonna take it back to what I talked about a little while ago with the culture shift here. I think that a lot of this is conditioning, dude. Like, you talk about you talk about them, being dumb and not using their critical thinking skills, but it's kind of like this. When you've got these the blue leaning cities, right? Like these crime-ridden cities, the San Franciscos, the Chicagos, the New York, all of these really shitty cities that are just a total like third world mess right now. You go and you look at those places, and every election cycle, the left comes in, promises them the world, promises to clean everything up. You'll fix it all. We'll get your city just spotless for all the votes. And they get the votes, and not a damn thing happens. If we want to talk about racism, that's fucking racism, okay? That is the definition of racism. Coming in and promising to fix your shit in exchange for your vote, and then it never happens. And so going back to your point, is it just a conditioning of our culture? You know, we've taken away the meritocracy with the participation trophies and the all-inclusive shit when you're coming through school. Oh, it's okay. You're all the same. No worries. You're going to grow up. You're going to do great. Don't worry about it. Get your fucking art degree. You'll be successful. We're all the same. Is it getting away from that sense of meritocracy where our culture, 70% overweight, right? These people that have just accepted that they're overweight and don't want to do anything about it, is that also a conditioning where they've been led down this path to believe that healthy at every size, no worries. If you get sick, I've got all these commercials, by the way. US and New Zealand are the only countries in the world where it's legal to advertise for pharmaceuticals. Hey, if you get sick, we got all these meds. We'll show them to you on the commercials. Oh, and if you want to have fun, we got all this beer that we're going to show you so you lose your ambition. Oh, you're okay with being fat? Well, here, guess what? Here's Amazon and Netflix. It's all at your fingertips. Don't worry, dude. You don't have to work hard. You're all the same. It's led to this like sense of like just the people just exist. And for me, when I look at you and me, and I look at our values on health and fitness, and when we sit here and talk about, you know, like the fact that you can be healthy and fit and be respected significantly more than the guy with the same exact skills as you who's obese says a lot, man. It's a personal respect thing. It's a personal accountability thing. And if you're overweight and you're not currently working on it, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Because if you're saying I'm just not motivated, you've conditioned your brain to believe that hard work is just not for you. You're lying to yourself. The sense of fulfillment and the sense of accomplishment coming from hard work is what men are all about. You want to be a masculine man, you got to fucking work hard. We've created this soft ass society where our culture is just, hey man, like I'll accept it for what it is because I'm just the same. Nobody's better than me. Meritocracy is gone. You don't have to work hard. And so I think that the conditioning that has happened from social media, essentially, the mainstream media, the social media pushing this agenda, you know, and you hit on something a little while ago that I also wanted to interject is the reason why the mainstream media is not going to last, dude. We're seeing this independent journalism become massively popular now, like Tucker, for example. Tucker got fired from Fox. Well, him and Elon came to an agreement. He's doing not a nightly segment, but he's got a segment on Twitter now where he fucking does this whole monologue and just exposes the truth. That guy and people like him are the future of media. The CNNs and Foxes and these guys are not going to be around much longer because people are checking out. People don't want to be fed the bullshit now because they're starting to wake up. I do feel a shift is coming and more pride in the country. That's why I'm excited for this July 4th because I want to go out. I've never celebrated July 4th in San Antonio, and I want to go out into this fucking neighborhood, and I'm going to be a red, white, and blue dude, and I want to see as many people out there as I possibly can to see what that's like in my community because I'm really curious to see.
It's definitely a culture thing, like you said. We're just teaching our children the wrong things by showing them the wrong things. That's really all it is. But and it goes back to us as dads. It goes back to us as just parents. Because look, guess what? It's not just dads, it's the mom as well. We have to teach our kid how to be the best they can be, how to strive towards their goals, how to work towards those things and become and fulfill the most elite version of them and whatever it is that they want to achieve. Like that's what this is all about. When you get caught up in the noise, your life becomes a mess. It's just a noisy, cluttered mess. But when you focus on you and how you can be a productive member of society, how you can be the best you can be, and how you can leave a positive footprint on this earth, America wins.
That's you just said reactive versus proactive is exactly what
reactive versus proactive. Yep. That's right, man. That's right. Many people live reactively. Now, I call those people stupid who choose not to believe these other things. And the reason why I say because technically it depends because ignorance is when you make a mistake, but you don't realize you're doing it. Stupidity is when you know it's wrong and you do it anyways.
You only call them stupid because you have more faith in humanity, dude. You have more faith in people that they should be able to use their critical thinking skills. Well, it's not stupid from a negative place. It's stupid from like, what the fuck, dude? You're better than that kind of place.
It's actually by definition stupidity because people will show them the actual truth and they'll decide to hear it, but not listen to it because they're too emotionally invested in their particular like argument
Agenda.
or their
Their-
stance
yeah,
that
their
they want to
narrative. Yep.
protect. They want to protect their ego, so they just will not
Yes.
change. They will not hear you, and they will just start talking louder instead of having an intellectual conversation between the two. There are many people who are ignorant because they just don't know better, and there are even more people who have seen the other side, but they refuse emotionally, not logically, to accept that truth because of their ego.
You're 100%
That's
right,
why
dude.
those people are stupid. And if they never change their mind and they're not able to be adults and have an actual intellectual conversation where, hey, dude, if you make more sense than me, then I'm just going to be like, shit, you've convinced me. I've changed my mind. There's nothing wrong with that. So many people think that once you take a stand, you have to die on that hill. You
No,
don't. You don't
I
understand
agree
how
with
many
you.
things that I used to believe that I have completely changed my mind now that I grew up. I've been exposed to the real world. I've dealt with real individuals, and I know people from all over the nation. I know what's for the net benefit of humanity, and it is working on you and contributing to society in a way where it will help the world be a better place, where you are just doing the best you can do, and everybody else that believes in what it is that you're doing follows suit, and you inspire and motivate them to do the same. It is not about forcing your agenda in the throats of every human being that lives on this earth.
No.
That causes conflict.
Yeah.
That causes all the nonsense that's happening, all this division that's happening. And by the way, this country is not as divided as it may think.
No.
But that's what the
It's
social,
not divided at all,
that's what
dude.
media outlets lead us to believe. So my final things when it comes to America and the privileges that we have, dude, is a lot of people don't realize this. If you are in a place where you have to reduce your calories to lose weight, you're privileged. There are many people on earth who would kill you to feed the leftovers you threw away because you take your food for granted, to feed their children because they don't know if their children will make it one other night.
Yep.
Think about that. This is why I tell people to visit third world nations as my first word of advice, to change your perspective shift and stop taking the things that are privileges for you for granted, because people out there would literally kill you in a heartbeat without thinking twice and forgetting your face the next moment. They don't give a shit about you. They do it all over again just to have your scraps. Don't take America for granted.
I love it. And I think this is a great place to wrap. I'll tell you, man, what you just said made me think about freedom as a whole. And we often, when we hear the word freedom, we often think privilege. And I'm trying to think here because, freedom for people in another country, like you said, that like these third world nations where there are people starving literally, and they don't know if they're going to make it another day. We have our needs met. We have our needs met very easily here in America. And we see that as a privilege, right? It's almost like that need is a privilege. Freedom to me, dude, the freedom to go out and be able to make healthier choices, the freedom to go out and be able to work on yourself, your mindset, work out, do things to get better. That's where fucking freedom's at. You're free to be a fat ass if you want, but why don't you shift the gear here and go with, I am free to go and pursue the most elite version of myself. And that to me is freedom. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Go be free, stand up for your freedoms, fight for your freedoms. July 4th is not just a holiday. It is a massively important day in our nation. And you guys go have an amazing 4th of July, and we'll see you in our next episode. Take care.